First mistake I think a lot of people who are learning cloud engineering make is they don't have a cloud account and they rely on these learning platforms that have like these sandboxes that cost, I don't know, 30, 40, $50 a month to be their actual way of getting hands on. There is definitely a space for that, but at some point you're going to want to start up your own account and then have a budget and then have alerts set for 25, 50, and 75% consumption alerts. That way, when it hits 25, it's not real time, so about 25%, you'll get an email and then you can check through your resources, what's still running, make sure you remove that. And again, when it happens at 50, 75%, and that way you won't go above the amount of money you actually want to spend. I promise you that $20 to $30 in your own cloud account, the return on investment in that could potentially be what, 6 figures? I have 2 projects that are in production that I actively get traffic towards. Oh no, 3. I get the Cloud Resume Challenge too. And I just checked, about $37 a month on that. And I actively deploy stuff, remove stuff, delete stuff, try new things out. I'm playing with like Azure OpenAI. Recently I was playing with Prometheus on a VM, and I still spent $37. So I promise you, if you put in that money, you'll get a higher ROI on it than if you were to leverage that towards like, I don't know, like a beginner roadmap or something like that. And this leads to my next point. For the majority of beginners, I think the content that is free is more than enough, the majority of it. I'm excluding courses that are in-depth, like in-depth courses that are based on projects, or in-depth things that are like, building APIs with .NET, like stuff like that. In-depth specific courses that are hours, that I think that is worth it. But things like roadmaps or books for fundamentals or anything like that, I don't think you should be spending that much money. I feel like a lot of content creators create that kind of stuff. They sell it for like, I don't know, $20 or $15, $20. And then you feel like you can leverage that, and it has you like, I don't know, it gives you kind of like secrets or like cheat codes or whatever. None of the cheat codes that they have work. None of the secrets that they have work. The market is hard. It really is just a numbers game and you getting hands on. So instead of spending money on that kind of stuff, take that same money and do what I told you in the first step. Go and create that account and set the budgets and the alerts, and that is definitely a higher ROI than buying like a roadmap or something. Now, I know I do have my own roadmaps and stuff like that. Like I have the diagrams that you can purchase if you want, but everything is in a video, so I feel like I'm not committing that same mistake that other content creators commit. And overall, just like the beginner audience is so easy to sell to. Content creators know that, sponsors know that. I have one sponsor that continuously emails me. I'm not replying. I don't reply to any sponsors ever, really. And then they found me on LinkedIn. I didn't accept it. And then they went on TikTok and they requested to DM me there. Like, yeah. So value your attention, okay? The third mistake people do, you don't have GitHub accounts. You don't have your projects on GitHub. Or when you do have them, your READMEs are not well documented, or they're just like copy pastes from other READMEs. Like you should not be doing that. Your GitHub should be your source of like truth, a source of like your skill set there. Everything else is in addition to that. Your blog is in addition to that. You have a YouTube channel that is in addition to that. Because what you should be focused on building is your technical skill set, and then of course your interviewing skills and like your people skills and stuff like that, which you can develop with like LinkedIn and going to meetups and writing blogs or like making videos or whatever it is. But you should primarily be focused when it comes to like developing your technical skill set for that to live on a GitHub. And if you don't have a GitHub, that's mistake number 3. The fourth mistake I think a lot of people commit is taking advice or following advice from people who don't work in the field. Again, because the beginner audience is really easy to sell to and vulnerable, because obviously the market is hard and there's like so many layoffs going on. Like it's someone who comes along and gives you like a very positive message. It's very easy to kind of just gravitate towards their advice. But be more, hold people that you take advice from to a higher standard, and this including me. I don't take advice from people who aren't actively in a role that I want to be in. If you're not working in the field, there's no advice that I can get from you. Unless you're someone who has like 20 plus years of experience. Like I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was the person who created the Windows oh my goodness, the system monitor. He has a YouTube channel. It's awesome, but he also had like 25 years of experience. And his channel is awesome. There's people like Kelsey Hightower who officially retired, but obviously you're going to take advice from Kelsey Hightower. But there are other people who like don't work in the field. Like there's nothing to learn from that. And even if you're a beginner, I feel like you can apply those same standards. Like if they're not actively in the field, if not actively building stuff, not actually developing their own skill sets, like I don't think there's much that you can learn from them. This field changes so fast that I think it is so hard to keep your skill set relevant if you're not actively working in it. So just be careful who you take advice from. And the flip side to that is don't only take advice from a single person. Like there are a ton of people out there who are sharing knowledge. And sometimes there are people with different opinions. Take both of them. Don't side with one person. Don't side with me. I get nothing out of you siding with me. I don't need you to defend me or anything like that. Learn what you learn from mine and then go and learn from someone else and leverage everything for your own career, for your own journey, right? Don't just be like, oh, everything that this person does, I have to absolutely do. I have to defend. I'm like, who cares? Do your own thing, right? And finally, the last piece of advice that I have is stop worrying about things that are going to happen in 5 to 10 years, because that time that you spend worrying is taking away from what you can accomplish in the next year. Like I recently did the video of like the end of the cloud engineer role, and it's like kind of my thoughts and my opinions. And I started the video by saying that on how the cloud engineering skill set is here to stay, but it's just going to get absorbed by a bunch of other roles, and how you can potentially see this thing called platform engineering, like a platform engineering team, and then having different operation-based roles under that become a thing. And it's interesting as someone who's in the field to see like these types of trends and kind of just share them. But if you're not even in this field, you have no business worrying about that stuff. Hyper focus on learning and getting into the space, because guess what? That action of learning and keeping yourself relevant is going to happen every single year. Every single year. It's not like once you're in, I'm in and that's kind of it. No. So you're better off right now spending time just figuring out, hey, how do I get into this cloud engineering field? And then once you're in, okay, do the work, assess. Where do I go from here? Do I move up? Do I do a different role? Whatever it is, right? But yeah, stop taking away from the time that you have now to focus on getting into the field by trying to focus on where the field is going. I promise you that in the next 5 years, your cloud engineering skill is going to be relevant. You'll be fine, okay?